Okay, folks, here we go.
Guys, here we go. Let's have a good show.
1B, stand by.
Yeah. Yeah, get at midfield. Just go right now. Go to camera 3. 3. Go to the gate. Perfect. Just like that.
I'll just go ahead.
Yep. Graphics 2 is going to be up for the okay. Go right now. Go to camera 3. Go. Yep. Go to the gate. Perfect. Just like that. No music.
I'm going to hand to Q. Sophie.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
On radio in the Canal Zone.
All right, guys, mic check.
Go ready.
Okay, Ricky, mic.
Yep, I am ready.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Willie, mic check.
Yep, let's go.
1B, stand by.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live.
Okay, and go for it, guys.
Okay, here we go. Round 2 now. This is the official one. Okay, we had our what do we had our mulligan. Okay, we had our mulligan.
mulligan.
And we haven't had one in a while, so we're kind of due for one. But nonetheless, it is now 8:20 Eastern Time, 5:20 Pacific Time, 7:20 Canal Zone time, and in Gunayala time, 7:20 p.m. So here we are, happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. It is Friday night, and now we've got things rolling here. So anyhow, Ricky, happy Friday to you, man.
Happy Friday, guys. Here we go for a second time. My last intro was almost too perfect. I doubt I'll be able to match what I just did earlier. But anyways, welcome to everybody, all our viewers and friends, to what we consider the best Friday happy hour on YouTube and Facebook. Brought to you by your very own SCN Canal Zone podcast, which is also known as Happy Hour at the Balboa Yacht Club.
Indeed it is.
And you guys, it's a podcast completely dedicated to the Panama Canal, to the Canal Zone way of life, and to the history of Panama. And like always, guys, our show always starts with a toast. In my case, a German beer. Until I find Panama beer in California.
Yeah, no, it was, and it was much needed here because, again, it's funny when we launch the show, there's a way here in the studio that I always check and see if the other channels are launching. And there's a bit of a lag, so it's kind of, hit or miss as far as the timing goes. And sometimes it's a little bit longer lag. And in this case, it was a bit longer lag. And then all of a sudden, it kept kicking off the YouTube channel. It wouldn't launch it. And of course, the majority of you guys come on from the YouTube channel. So we wanted to make sure that one was running. So we cut it off. But like Ricky said, in fact, it was one of those where he had the spotlight because here I'm trying to troubleshoot things and launching things, and he's,
and I was killing and I was on a roll.
Yeah,
I cannot repeat that, Willie.
No.
Take two.
Fortunately, we're on good now. So, Leaf is still in Panama. Like I said, the perpetual Panama vacation. Leaf Solene is there. Vern from the Atlantic side. Vern, we got an Atlantic side compatriot of yours joining us this evening. So that'll be good. You'll be familiar with some of that. And Chris is in O'Hare, right on. He's on. Chris. Yep, always traveling the world on his adventures all around the world. So he's at O'Hare right now. That's cool, man. I you know what? That's one of my bucket list items is being an aviation fanatic. There's a hotel at JFK Airport called the TWA Hotel. And they actually took part of the old terminal where TW used to fly out of, and they've turned it into a hotel where they have actually a deck out there with a pool, and you're literally 50, 60 feet from some of those jumbo jets is there right down below you. And the rooms that you have, some of them are facing that tarmac. So for an aviation fanatic, that's kind of a cool thing. It's on my bucket list to do one day. But for today, we have a different bucket list item. A lot of things that we've learned from, growing up in the zone and from doing this show now for a year and a half or so is that we lived down there. We took a lot of the zone for granted. We took Panama for granted. And the vast majority, I'd be willing to bet the vast majority of Zonians have never been to the San Blas Islands. They've never been to Gunayala, have never understood any of that culture other than what they've seen. For example, Stephen Circle obviously was very popular on the Balboa side of it. Not sure on the Atlantic side, but that's the extent of our knowledge and history of it. Because again, we just kind of grew up there. We didn't when we grew up, we didn't expect it to go away, you know.
Yeah,
And so
but
we
back in
just,
the day, you needed to four-wheel drive out there, or
I would
know
imagine
somebody
so.
with a Cessna and get out there. But it was not easy to get there, or a
No, you're right.
sailboat. Yeah,
You're
yeah, it
right.
was like the straight up expeditioners that we grew up with that went out there.
Yes, it was an adventure for sure. But nonetheless, it was something that, like a lot of things, we've come to find out that we lived right past it, and it came and went, and or we came and went actually, and it's still there. But now we're missing a lot of that stuff, and we're learning about a lot of that stuff. So awesome! We just got somebody that just bought us a beer, and it's actually bought us a chicha de caña.
Chicha
Okay,
de
and
caña, that's what we're
so that'll
drinking
kick
now.
off an interesting little side point here. We're going to be the gentleman is joining us now, and I'll just quit prefacing it so much. But Elias Perez runs Gunayala Expeditions, and these folks out in the islands out there. He's an educator as well, and so he does a lot of things, mostly to not only fundraise but also bring attention to the culture and embrace the technologies that are available today to bring that culture to more people, not just in Panama but around the world. But first and foremost, bring education to the islands, increase the education there. And so, one of the things that we're going to do is, from today moving forward till the end of the year, instead of buying us a beer, we're all going to pitch in and buy a drink, a chicha de caña, which is a traditional drink out there, and Elias will explain it to us here in just a bit, and help raise money for those guys. And then in January, when we go down there for that Canal Zone reunion, we're going to hopefully give them, some nice money that's obviously, needed over there. So that's going to be kind of our Zonian part to do there. So really excited about that, but also going to learn about the culture, the Gunayala culture, and what that's all about, and
And how to get out there.
yes, and Ricky's obsessed with that, man. He made sure 3 times today you're gonna have a map.
I almost had Willie do a flight simulator to get out
He
there.
did,
I mean,
man.
come
You
on,
know
Willie, man. It's easy.
He did, man. So yes, we're gonna figure. I promise you, we will ask Elias, how do you get out there, so that when Ricky goes down there and he wants to make that trip, he'll definitely do it.
Yeah, I've heard
Um,
nothing but beautiful stuff about that.
Yeah, no, but it's it's going to be very educational, and again, I'm really excited to do that. But before we do that, don't forget, guys, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, especially. Our channel is SCN Canals on all one word. So make sure you go there, like it, and subscribe, so we get more on that algorithm. But anyhow, let's go ahead and move on, because I know that Elias is waiting, excited. He's in our green room, ready to jump in here. But before he does, Ricky's going to give us some cool bochincha here. It's going to be a short segment nonetheless, but there's some interesting things that have been going on in Panama recently.
A lot of
So
stuff to keep you guys updated and informed.
absolutely. So let's go ahead and
El bochinche, 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 el bochinche.
there you go. And
That's it,
real
man.
quick,
Yep.
thank you very much for that, Dodd. That beer, Kim. Absolutely
you, Dodd.
appreciate that. And
Yes.
that's again, guys, every one of these drinks is going to help provide some education for a child in the Gunayala.
And to buy you guys gift for all our competitions and contests and all the stuff that are coming up.
Yeah, but
So
right now we
thank
want
you,
to
thank you
fundraise for
for
this
everything.
school, so we definitely
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
our pet project here, and I think Ricky and I will every Friday we'll buy a drink as well, and make sure that these guys get a lot of help there. But before you proceed, Ricky, let's go ahead and keep saying hello. I just sidetracked myself out of saying hello to people, but we have quite a few people jumping on and
Yes,
want to say hello.
Rich,
So
of course,
Rich,
hi.
good to see you there, and Tanya. Yes, it is very true,
Hi,
Tanya.
Tanya.
We've learned a lot of things that we saw down and we took it for granted. And then after we left, we're like, man, I forgot to do that. And damn it, and so hopefully we can relive a lot of that through this show here.
A lot
But
of people did scuba classes
Yeah.
after a while. A lot of my friends, but I missed out on that. I mean, I finally got my license, but out here, not in Panama. But a lot of my friends, everybody in my neighborhood got it at the same time.
By the way,
Zero, G.
yeah.
Robinson.
it was,
John
and that was a
Corrigan,
big
all
part
those
of being in the zone was being in the water. I mean, it was, that kind of was second nature to us anyway. And I think in a lot of cases, people didn't bother doing those things because they just assumed, hey, I've been swimming all my life. I don't need that crap. And turns out you do, though. It's obviously very useful. But real quick, that's a great point to make there. And the gentleman that's bringing that up, Bud Tristano, he's going to be joining us in 2 weeks, guys. Bud joined the U.S. military back in the 70s and was stationed down in Panama. And he's taken some amazing pictures and videos. He's got a lot of great stories. Of course, the obvious one we talk about a lot is the slide. In Mark Cicero's video of the Canal Zone, the Panama Days video, that whole slide scene there, Bud Tristano shot that. He's also got a cool video of Goofy Falls and a couple other great ones yeah. So really excited to have him on, and again, finally get somebody from the military that from Howard that had that perspective. And in all honesty, back in the 70s, there wasn't a whole lot of filming gear available. If you had something like that, you either had money or you really were into that, and that was really a strong hobby of yours. And he took some great shots. So
yeah, I know.
Really,
we're very
really
lucky,
excited
very
to have
lucky,
that.
man, to have that.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you coming on. Well, guys, our Bochincha tonight is going to be talking about our new Canal Zone historians. I want to call them influencers. I don't know. I mean, where all this popped out of, but there is a lot of Canal Zone historians out there. We're going to talk about our favorite mayor, Mayor Misrachi. We're going to talk about ACP, all the new trains, some little bit of sports, a lot of Colón, which is the popular spot now, and of course the ports. So let's get going with this Bochincha segment.
Sure.
Influencer, guys, listen, there's a lot of people out there, including our tonight's guest, Kunayala _ expedition. They it's everything about San Blas. So you can find them on everybody I'm going to mention now. You can find them on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, so maybe Willie can help there. So San Blas influencer, Kunayala expedition, Canal Zone documentary. There's a great Instagram page out there by Thane Wheeler called Canal Zone Documentary.
Yes, indeed.
And he's got a great feature right now, the administration building, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. So check them out on Instagram. Also on Instagram, one of our very favorited all-time Captain Andy, has a credible Instagram account.
Yes, he does.
Called Captain's Playground. Now, what Andy does is he films him. He's a captain on the canal, so he will film his transit through, and you can always catch what it looks like to be a captain on a ship going through the Panama Canal. And you can always catch Captain Andrew here on our show once every 2-3 months. He comes on and updates us. He actually is due, and he's also a big sponsor of our show. Well, if you go on his his page on Instagram, he filmed a crossing that was an all Zonian crossing, from him being the captain to going on the tugboats, and I believe the third person was either the guy that who we had here a couple of weeks ago,
Jim
traffic control.
Oh, well, from Marine Traffic Control.
So all Zonian crew got still getting our ships through. So right on to you guys.
That was a lot of fun.
That deserves a freaking cheers for our Zonians still doing what they got to do down there. All right, moving on. On the fourth influencer, Canal Zone PTY, Juan Posada. He has a great feature right now, you guys, on Instagram about Vincent Thomas. If you guys all know him, everybody knows Vincent Thomas, but he has an incredible piece on him and all his. It's a great story. You got to go check it out. I didn't know very much of Vincent Thomas. I wasn't much of a swimmer, but whoa, is he very much loved.
Well, but everybody, if you went to Balboa Pool, Coach Vince was always there. He ran Balboa Pool as long as I can remember.
I don't remember that. I just remember playing Smear the Queer and chasing the but that's way, guys, that's a football game. Then I know our age group doesn't have a problem with that. I know the younger generation does. Sorry about that, guys. But it was a game we played. And it had nothing to do with gay. It just had to do with shoving your head under the water until you let go of the ball. If you didn't let go of the ball, we kept holding you underwater. Eventually, you'll let go of the ball. Well, anyway, so that was our game that we played Wednesday night. So Juan Posada, great thing on Vincent Thomas and Balboa Theater. Speaking of the pool on Wednesday night, right? Balboa Theater right there. And then another one, which we've had before, PRR _ history, all about the Panama Railroad. Yeah. Panama Canal Railroad Company now.
Nodia Garcia.
Noria Garcia, which we've had on, man. He's gonna come back because there's so much to talk about. Now, these guys all talk about, these are all Canal Zone, things that they all talk about, the history and their love for it is amazing, guys. Amazing.
And what's interesting about that, Ricky, is that they really do have a following. You look at their numbers; they have a lot of people that follow what they do. So it's not something that just they've said, "Hey, I want to put this out there." Nobody's watching. People actually want this coverage, and they're following it, they're liking it, and they're sticking to it. Yeah.
And listen, the CEO, I mean the top manager guy there, Thomas Kenna, Zonian, and Tommy Morris, top accountant. I'm sure he probably is the CFO, because he is one of the top accountants in Panama, also Zonian. So we got Zonians running that as well. Zonians everywhere, still in the Canal Zone. And last but not least of the ones that I follow is this one guy who's amazing, and Bud, you'll like this. His name is Ruta Bunkers Panama Canal, and what he's dedicated to is the history of the military in the Canal Zone. And right now he's doing a big piece on all the bunkers, and especially the one in Flamenco Island called Warren Bunker. So if you go on his site on Instagram, Ruta Bunkers Panama, and I'll put it on the ticker there a little bit later on the show. So those are our influencers. That's a lot of people doing Canal Zone history, including our show. And it's the new big thing in Panama. Everybody's really, really interested in what's going on. And then, by the way, the Canal Zone Panama PTY thing, Jorge Posada, you can sign up for a walking tour now through El Prado, the Illustration Building, Babo High School, Gold Halls Memorial. It's an incredible walking tour. He's really doing well with that. Lots and lots of people signing up for this freaking thing to walk up and down where we grew up. So we're going to have him also back on the show.
Kind of cool that we used to run around and play in a place that now is considered historical.
Oh yeah, walking tour. Yeah, we played. That's why I learned how to play football. Right?
Yeah, for sure. El Prado. Heck yeah, man.
All right, let's move on. Talking about our favorite mayor, Meyer Misrachi. We haven't talked about him in a while, but we do have a lot going on. But just before I get started with that, let me tell you, Willie, here in San Francisco, we have a new mayor, and he's neither left or right. He's kind of like right down the middle, right? But so what is he? How does he doing his campaigning and his way of leading a city? Exactly like Meyer. I mean, he is copying Meyer part by part with the selfie and going to all the job sites and cleaning the streets and getting people involved. Oh my God, it's like Meyer. I follow politics and I've never seen his technique.
Meyer 2.0.
And so people are like starting to see, hey, what? Maybe not directly, but whatever that technique is working. And let me tell you something else. The ambassador of Panama is a young guy, right? We've always talked on this show how we always thought those two would connect. Well, lo and behold, these two are connecting. Nice. They had a big meeting with Meyer and a bunch of business. He brought a bunch of business leaders, got together with the ambassador and said, listen, we're here because we need to create more job creation, more sustainable growth, advance U.S. Panama commercial ties, promote our shared prosperity, together building foundation. Now, who talks about that every week on a YouTube podcast? Us. We've been talking about this togetherness and this bring it together for the longest time.
We have some good ideas.
Here we are. You got the mayor together with the ambassador. Now, the ambassador was last seen in Miami like a week ago on one of the more popular podcasts there in Miami. I don't know the name. I think it's called Today in Miami. Well, he was on there, the ambassador, and he was, they were talking, hey, how do you like Panama, this and that? And the ambassador goes, hey, you got to check out the mayor of Panama. This kid is killing it. And he talks so well of Meyer. Nice. So it's really good to always bring him up in our Bochincha segment, because that boy is really, really, really doing a job that, the country needed it in a bad way. Well, speaking of Meyer, now, Willie, Casco Viejo has always been an important place, and little by little they have been restoring it. Well, now, Willie, once a month, and they're going to probably do it twice a month, they have a thing called Casco Peatonal, which they close Casco Viejo down to cars. Okay. And I don't know if you downloaded that video.
Let
but
me
they
see if I
have
can.
this. Yeah, they have this. It's an incredible day to spend down there. Live music, dance classes, which hopefully we'll get the video, but it is an incredible hit. 130,000 people showed up to this casco peatonal. Imagine what that does to the economy of that area.
Yeah, no
Restaurants,
kidding, man.
museums, hotels, the whole works, and no cars. So that's an incredible thing. Now, if we can get that thing up, if not, don't worry about it. Just a bunch of people dancing, just to show you how packed and how popular this has become in Panama. And it's a brand new thing, so hopefully they'll be doing it twice a month. Now, I just mentioned you guys there's a bunch of museums down there, and a couple of weeks ago we mentioned that, and rightly so, the Canal Zone Museum won some distinctions from Travel Advisory, specifically the Traveler's Choice Award, which basically means you guys are in the top 10 of most of people wanting to visit your museum, or haven't visited your museum, or have an interest in your museum. And so when the Canal Zone Museum was announced, we kind of thought, oh, that makes sense. Of course, Panama and the canal go hand in hand. But now, if you guys are down in Panama and you're into the arts like I am, there's a new museum down there called MAC, M-A-C, and it stands for Museo de Arte Contemporáneo. That too made the list for Panamanian modern art. So you guys might want to check that out. I believe it's also in Casco Viejo. It's called MAC, M-A-C, Museo de Artes Contemporáneo. So
Right on.
congratulations to those guys for getting that award. Now back to Meyer. Some of the stuff he's doing for Panama. He's trying to bring, he's trying to put Panama he's trying to put Panama on everybody's mind, and everybody
Right.
talk about it, right? So he goes to Miami a lot, and one of the things he's bringing to Panama is, and it's a big time thing for the Latin Americans, is Premios Juventud. And basically, it's an annual Spanish language award show that recognizes the achievement of young Hispanic and Latino stars in music, film, sports, fashion, pop culture. So this is a big thing, a big event, and now it's coming to Panama.
Sure.
And one of the reasons why Panama was even considered was because Forbes, Willie, puts out this thing 30 under 30, the 30 brightest minds of different regions, right?
Yeah, I've seen
For
that.
the 30 for Latin America, 5 Panamanians made it. A gymnast, which did super well in the Olympics. I think we all remember her, Hillary Heron. Yeah, she recreated, the only person that's ever recreated the Biles move, if the little girl.
That's right.
But listen to this. Now she has her own move called a Heron move.
Nice.
So yeah,
Right
she's an up
on.
and coming. She participated in the 2024 Olympics. We're almost positive she'll be on the next ones.
I would think so.
And she also participated in the World Cup, which we know she'll also do very well on that.
Nice.
There's also a young singer by the name of Bosa. And he Sony Music signed him for long term.
Nice.
And his Panamanian, I mean, if you go on YouTube, his name is Boza, B-O-Z-A. He's got a song called Hecha Pa' Mi, and it's the big hit that's putting this kid, on the map. He does a lot of dance hall music, reggaeton, Afro beats, and Panamanian rhythms. Brings them all together. His name is Bosa. Great singer. Let's see, we have his real name. Nope, I don't have his real name. Bosa, you'll have to look him up. Sony Music signed him up. Another big Panamanian 30 under 30 is a writer. Her name is Mayra de Garcia, and she does romantic comedies. And this young girl has done movies such as Just Business, a series called Jaded Boys, and she's done quite well writing for TV and movies. And she's
very cool.
Yeah, she's coming out with her own book, which people are looking forward to it, called Christmas in Boquete. So it's going to be coming out this year, and everybody should be looking forward for that, to hear more about Boquete, which is something we are eventually going to get into here, guys.
Sure.
Mostly because of the expat community there, and that place. The more I research there, God, it's this unbelievable little gem. Okay, our the fourth is a scientist from Chitre, Natalie Rios, and she's just one of the top students in as an environmentalist. So Juan
Okay.
Carlos Navarro, our minister of the environment's got his eyes on hiring her
Up and
and
coming
having
star.
her work for the government. Yes, well, she has won the global student this international prize called the Global
Wow.
Student Award.
Right on.
Netali in science. So one of our top. And last but not least, this is I'll leave him up for last because this guy's the most interesting. Of course, a surfer out of
Ah, right
Panama,
on.
Diego Diaz. And what Diego he does is what Kiki O'Brien does. He shapes
Okay.
boards. He shapes boards. But what made him make the list, not just shaping boards, is Willie. He takes plastic bottles, okay, recycles them into t-shirts, clothes,
Wow. How about that?
and they're selling it, and it works.
Well, good for him, man.
Recycling plastic bottles into clothes. Now,
Very good.
speaking of boquete and plastic bottle, there's a place up there, Willie's completely built out of plastic bottles. I gotta do more research, but I've heard about it. I think it's called the Plastic Bottle Palace or something like that.
Only Ricky could make a successful segue out of recycling plastic bottles into something that would be
But it's
entertaining.
just amazing that
Yeah, right
they
on,
can
dude.
build. I mean,
Heck
I
yeah.
wouldn't live in a house made out of plastic bottles, but
Well,
if
but
you
hey,
want to recycle and be into that,
you might.
that is
Yeah.
definitely a thing going
Very
on.
good.
All right. So we're gonna move on, guys. So let's go to ACP because we do got to
Yep.
get our guy on. ACP just made a big
Yeah,
announcement.
Elias is waiting
ACP,
patiently on there. Don't fall asleep,
ACP
Elias. We're getting right with you, brother. We're almost here.
ACP, guys. Yes, ACP is the new Canal Zone government or Panama Canal Company.
Correct.
Right? And it
They're the
became,
governing authority of the canal.
the kind of governing authority of the canal. And they got their own rules, their own laws. They're separate. All right. Well, they just came out $8.5 billion investment plan. Now, when the canal zone, when the U.S. ran it, we didn't run the canal zone for profit. We just ran it, get the ships through. That's it. If they need gas, pump it up. If they need to repair something because of their transit through, we repair it, but on their way. We had no interest in anything other than that. But now it's big time. The canal, it's extremely similar to Singapore in strategic location and all the services they
and
can
it's getting ready to
provide.
become a Singapore in every way, shape, and
Willie,
form.
it's
From what
an
you said
amazing
about
thing.
the whole deal with South America now, that's going to
It's
just
an amazing
double the size
thing.
of that hub.
And we're going to talk about it. It's amazing what's coming up right now. They got one of the $8.5 billion investments is gas duct. If you guys remember when we were growing up, there was one in Puerto Armuelles, I believe, that
Correct.
went across. Well, now there's going to be one in the Canal Zone going across. That the Japanese are actually interested in that one.
Sure.
There's going to be a total of 5 new ports built. Right now, 3 are getting ready to start. Out of the 5, 2 on the Pacific, 3 in Atlantic. Okay, there's going to be more trains now. This is a big thing happening in Panama right now because of the ports, right? The Chinese trying to sell their concession to somebody else.
Sure.
Well, now they're saying that's not legal. Well, the trains they did that, but of course, it's an American company. Then it was sold to a Canadian company. Now sold to Merck. They just sold that to Merck for $600 million. But the bad thing about that is that Panama didn't make any money off that deal. They just, one company sold it to another company. So they might get in a little trouble there. Or they're going to have to fork out some money. But Merck,
Somebody made something, just not up front. That's all.
but nobody in Panama, not the Panama government. Now, Merck's
Correct.
is totally getting involved with the Canal Zone. And what I mean with the Canal Zone is the canal area. As you know,
Shipping. It's just all shipping. I mean, these guys are shipping powerhouses.
Powerhouse. They came to Panama invited by it's either I don't know. Somebody invited them to Panama. I think it was actually La Prensa. That's it. La Prensa invited them to Panama to do a speech, and they were just talking about how Panama, for the reasons that we've mentioned here, because PPC wouldn't allow Panama to expand ports. Panama fell 15 years behind in their capacity to provide services to a demand that's there. So in other words, there's a demand for a tripling, or I shouldn't say that, but that's it feels like tripling. We're doubling our port capacity, but
Sure.
we've always been not allowed for whatever reason that the courts wouldn't allow a development. But now with Merck behind it, there's all these, like I said, 5 new ports. Now Merck is going to be investing in not only in our beautiful transcontinental railroad, but they're going to expand it to be more trains. So in other words, there's going to be more than one track now
Of
going
course.
back and forth
Yeah.
because of the demand. All right. As you guys know, the watershed, Rio Indio, they're going to be damming that. And that's going to be providing a lot of water for the canal. So we won't ever run into any more of these water problems or drinking water problems. Not that we have, but the future is secure.
Well, that's always
Now-
been one of the battles is, do you provide more water to the city at the expense of the canal or vice versa? And so now you're going to be able to
yeah.
appropriate both of them.
And I don't think the canal was built for population.
No,
How
certainly
much is
wasn't. The
city? It's
canal
like
was
2
built for the
million people
Americans
now.
in the canals and to run the canal. It
Correct.
wasn't for the country.
But so they're not well, a lot of the users, Willie, were demanding that they don't have, that they got to make sure we don't ever have these, because of the investment they make in shipping and all the things that the people that ship invest in. They want to make sure that
Right.
canal is going to operate. All right. So they're also investing in new technology for water use because, every country really is not the best at conserving water. We do waste a ton of water, fresh water. And then this is another major investment, but it's actually by the U.S. government, is that they're new telecom towers. They're replacing the Chinese Hawaii, how do you say that? Chinese company? Huawei's towers, because they found some tech in there that was not really associated with the intent of those towers.
Yeah.
Now, we talked briefly about that here, Willie, and what we found out from reading and connecting the dots is China gets a lot of scientific collaborations with all these different countries, right? And all those contracts have a little spot in it that says, due to certain Chinese national interests, they don't have to share certain information.
Yeah,
Well,
certain dark areas there, they're not allowed to touch.
not allowed to touch. So they find out, what is it? Well, they're using all that technology for missile guidance, espionage of our ships, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of why they're moving out of those, they're replacing all those with American technology. So, anyways, and speaking of trains, and speaking of one of our furthest away viewer from Japan. Japan will be investing in Panama $2.4 billion for the subway train, the third line, the one that's going to cross the bridge and on do.
Yeah.
And so I didn't read where they're going to expand, but I imagine it's going to be from Arraijan to Chorrera, right? It just go that way because to Panama it's already a done deal. And the ambassador of Japan in Panama, his name is Matsunaga Kazuyoshi. Now, I practiced that. I hope that our Japanese viewers on.
He can say Japanese names. He can't say English names, can't say Spanish names, but he can say Japanese names. Go figure that one out.
That's because he's a good man. Speaking of trains, guys, the new Panama David train, it's kicking off. They just said that they're going to be starting it, I think it's this year. And the first leg of it is going to be from Panama to Divisa.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you can show the map, but I checked out where Divisa is, guys. Divisa, it's in the interior. It's like right past Agua Dulce, right before Santiago. But it's this spot that, north, south, east, and west come together in the agricultural parts of Panama. And that's where the train's going to eventually end up. And mostly it's for agriculture to get the stuff to the Panamanian market. So that's the good news on that train. All those Zonians that are buying out in Pedasi, you're going to be closer now to, you're going to get out there a lot faster.
Yeah. So here,
let's check it out right there.
Maybe.
All right. So yeah, you need to go. Yeah.
So Divisa, where are we talking about?
You need to go more west. So right where Herrera.
There's Penoname right here.
No, you need to go more
further west.
Look for Agua Dulce.
Okay, well, that's gonna be near the water. There it is, Agua Dulce, Puerto de Agua Dulce, right here.
All right, now.
And there's the Pan American Highway.
All right, follow the Pan American Highway. Keep going. It's before Santiago.
Divisa,
So
right
around
there.
there, right there. So that's where the train's gonna come. Now you see the road number
So
4.
interesting. So Divisa, and it's interesting where that name is because it's kind of where the road divides into continuing west out to the west coast.
Correct.
Or
And then
this is
down
where you
this
turn
way
south to go down the peninsula, the Azuero
to
Peninsula.
the peninsula, right? And that's all agriculture, a lot in there. And then Veragua's the other way, but that's more
Okay.
mountainous. But still, there's
Right.
a lot of agriculture up there as well.
Okay, where is it again? I lost it now.
Can I go down?
There it is, Divisa.
There it is, Divisa. So
this is Divisa. Where there's in this area here, then is where that the first part of the rail line is going to be going to. Then
correct. The first part from Panama to there, and then the second part from there to Costa Rica, to the border. But you see that it's very centrally located, where two big highways come together.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a hub for agriculture in the future. So that's what's going on with the trains.
You're right. That is pretty much halfway through, halfway between Panama and the border there. Interesting. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool.
I like it.
Okay. All right.
All right. Moving right along. Let's get into a little sports.
Yeah.
You guys remember Donovan Mitchell, big time NBA basketball player?
Mm-hmm.
Well, his mom's from Cologne, right?
Okay.
So he's gonna now join the Panamanian basketball team, which they have a game this weekend against
Argentina. How about that?
Yeah, so if you can catch it on ESPN Sports, you'll see Donovan Mitchell playing for the Panamanian basketball team. So right on, Donovan out of Cologne.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup.
That's a nice pickup. Speaking of Cologne, Willie, Cologne has been on the map. I don't know if you got that video ready, but they just had a major food festival out there that was quite well attended. Not only did the mayor of Panama attend, but so did the ambassador of the United States, and our very own Jason Greitides was out there to tell us about it. Yeah. So basically, it's a big food festival, very well attended, and surprising of the quality of food is what everybody is saying. It's coming out of Cologne. And the food trucks and that kind of food is just a spectacular event that they put on. Well, this is the one that you got there is Peatonal, Casco Peatonal. This is the Sunday once a month party they do that. This is the guy right here. Hey, Willie, we're gonna have him on.
Kept secret. What?
The secret is the food of Cologne. Have you tried it? Everything from Cologne. The raspa, fried fish, plantain tart, and the patty. The pizza patty, the sauce, the chicheme with the ice cream, the pokies, Caribbean style, barbacoa, the ice in glass and rangoleau, the timoteo sachets, the cow food soup, the fried pork, the one-on-one, even the Red Devil restaurant bus.
这些都可以在 Centro de Convención Amador Antiguo Figali 找到。Bravo! Bravo! Aqui você vai comer gostoso e além disso vai curtir de festival cheio de tradição e cultura colonense chamado Sei cordialmente invitato il sabato 16 e la domenica 17 agosto dalle 10 di mattina alle 7 di sera. 这活动很精彩，你跟家人不要错过。Buy your ticket for $1 at retoforcolon.org and receive your QR code. This is an event from Colon for Panama and the world. And don't forget, ¡Arriba Colon!
All right. Well, so that is the event that's coming to the city.
Interesting.
And they had the one in Cologne last weekend.
Okay.
That's the one that, so I thought, well, there we go. We're announcing it for the next one. You don't want to miss that. I understand from a couple of foodies that the food was spectacular, guys.
Yeah, well, let's move along.
Moving along. Speaking of Panama good food, guess what you can buy now? You can buy a kilo of geisha coffee for the big amount of $30,204. A new world record for coffee.
It's like a
just
Bitcoin.
happened like a couple of.
It's like the Bitcoin of coffee, man.
Oh my goodness! Anyways, a kilo, $30,204, and of course, from a Canal Zone operated operation out
There
there,
you go. Right on.
Hacienda La Esmeralda.
There
So,
you
if you're ready to buy a kilo of $30,000 coffee, you can find them on Instagram under Hacienda La Esmeralda. One word.
Right on. That's awesome, man.
Anyway, look, and more good news. IKEA, Willie. IKEA's coming to Panama.
IKEA, yeah.
IKEA, yeah, they're coming to Panama now. A few good things that are different from all the other IKEAs are coming here, there, and everywhere is for the Panama because
Because they'll have instructions that actually you can understand when you build something.
and also we negotiate our own terms. Local sources. They gotta buy local sources.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they got to buy. Yeah, so a lot of stuff that you're going to be buying there is, wood coming from Panama or canvas coming from Panama or painted in Panama. Definitely assembled in Panama.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So, and then of course, employment. It's a well-paying company. So,
jobs.
yeah. So more jobs. That's what Panama needs. Now let's go wrap it up with ports. As we all know, lots been going on. As we know, BlackRock tried to buy it from the CK Hutchinson.
Yeah,
and then
that's the company that Ambassador Sosa said was not Chinese affiliated. That one.
Yeah, that one. Then Molino thought, well, they're going to be buying it left and right. Let's do our move, and then they put in a lawsuit. I mean, no, not a lawsuit yet. They did an audit. And of course, they found $1.3 billion missing.
Oh, tears of shock.
And we talked about how they kept holding that information, and we kept saying, well, when are they going to bring it out? Right? Well, and then as the Xi Jinping said, no, we need to stop this because it's too many of our ports, it's too much, it'll affect their Belt and Road Initiative. They said, no, we're going to put a stop to it. And then they put a stop to it, and then Molino stepped up the pressure. And then China said, well, we'll do a deal, but we have to let Costco be part of the deal. Right. And of course, nobody wants Chinese to continue being a deal. So at this point, Panama now goes ahead and files the lawsuit and says, listen, guys, you guys have just been ripping us off. And the concession is just unconstitutional, man. We can't continue with this. And B, you can't sell our ports. These are our ports without us being a part of it, right?
Sure.
So the Chinese now are freaking out, right? Because, we already know they've blocked expansion deals. They've blocked other port deals, right? So Panama has filed a lawsuit against them. And Molino came out and quite clearly said, we'll do business, but we're not doing business with the status quo or with what was going on. And of course, Merck now is involved, the BlackRock's involved, Costco's, everybody's involved. So Panama's now saying, you know what? New deal. We're just going to get it to the Supreme Court. And my opinion, more than likely, it's going to be go to new bid to operate those ports.
Sure.
But there is a catch, and that is the cranes. I don't know who owns the cranes, if Panama owns the cranes or the Chinese company owns the cranes. Because a port without cranes is not a port.
Right. Correct.
All right. So that's a big, big deal. And who freaking controls the crane building industry are the Chinese.
Right.
So
there you go.
There might be a little bit of more news coming on this front, guys. But hold tight right now. Nothing's happened. It's still under, everything is still under the way it has been. BlackRock has not moved forward an inch with owning that or operating that port. It looks like it's going to go to lawsuit and then to a new concession. And then finally, to wrap this up, as we know, we have a few Canal. We have a Zonian and a former Sosa. I think, it is Sosa, right? No. I think it is Sosa. And the U.S. and some U.S. investors are doing a pretty big port out in Chiriquí. The Zonian involved is the former owner of Hammer Construction. And I know I worked for him. I know a lot of us worked for Hammer Construction.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm still in the construction industry because of, my love for it. But working for Hammer was really inspirational for a lot of us. It was really, really cool that you had a job with Hammer. Well, anyways, the owner of Hammer, Weiss, ex ACP administrator, and some American investors are putting this port together in Chiriquí, which it doesn't have one, which is amazing. Chiriquí doesn't have a port, at least not a big port. And now this port, guys, people are concerned, why do you need a port way the heck out there? Well, they have Mercosur, and they got the new trade agreement with the United States coming up. So right now, the three countries that have signed up with Panama to ship beef to Panama for export: Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay. So
Makes sense.
Panama is, it's going to need an area to process all this meat and then reship it out, and that's going to be going out of Chiriquí. So a lot of that business is going to be going up there, and those incredible jobs as well. And last but not least,
oh my God, there's 13. Last but not least,
I know, but this was important because a lot of people know this about Chiquita. Chiquita is negotiating with the government. Government's apologizing for all this big mistake of rioting and losing everything, and Chiquita lost a ton of money. Well, anyways, we're renegotiating to bring them back, so we will have Chiquita. I mean, look, Willie, the labor force is there, well trained, and the demand is there. So why not?
100%.
Give us a mulligan. Panama always deserves a mulligan. Like our show.
So often.
Like our show. Well, sadly, guys, that is it for our Bochinche
Sadly,
segment.
listen to him. Poor thing. Elias had to go take a nap, man. He's been sitting over there waiting, man.
And this was our short version.
Another story. Yeah, this was a short version. Imagine that. Holy cow.
It's just so many good stuff that I had to share with all our viewers. That's why people come here. They like to get updated on what's happening.
That's what SCN Canal's about, is Panama. There you go.
It is. Thank you, guys. Thank you for putting up with that, and I'll cheers to all you guys for putting up with my
Salud. All right. Well, anyway, moving right along, because we do have a guest that's been very patiently waiting on standby, and we're really honored to have him join us, because these guys they do some really cool stuff here. I'll show you a quick video of what's in store for you, and then we'll bring Elias on board here. Audio 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 on that, but nonetheless, so with us, guys, all the way from what we used to know as the Sandblast Islands, but Elias Perez is with Gunayala Expedition. And Elias, first of all, welcome. Love to have you on. Thank you so much. But set the record straight. Is it Cuna? Is it Guna? Is it Sandblast Island? Which one is it?
Okay, in 2000, the Cuna people have a minister, and his name is Enrique Garrido. Is the change the comarca San Blas is changed for comarca Gunayala con Q. In 2001, the Panamanian education is speaking about the education, bilingual education. He say the Gunayala con Q, con Gu, con G de gato.
Okay.
Gunayala.
With the G.
For the Panamanian government, exactly. For Panamanian government, for example, I am teacher, I can write Gunayala con K. Como for example, Cantule, this is a name, the leadership name.
Okay.
For the Congress General is Gunayala.
Okay, and if you could bring your camera down a little bit so you can show your face a little more. There you go. Perfect. So anyway, perfect. So now we know, guys, it's Gunayala is now what used to be formerly was called the Sandblast Islands. Now we call it Gunayala. And then again, the Cuna. Now, is it referred to the Guna people or the Cuna people, or are those interchangeable?
Okay, Gunayala is say Cuna territory. Cuna is indigenous, Yala is territory. Gunayala, indigenous territory.
Perfect. Gotcha.
Like that? Gunayala?
Yes. Yeah. So Yala is the territory. So
yes, exactly. Yala, Cuna is indigenous, Yala is territory.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time to join us. We learned a little bit about you last year. We had some folks from the class of '89 and Allison Huff. They went down last year, and they were doing a fundraiser on behalf of a friend of theirs who unfortunately lost her battle with cancer, and so they were doing a fundraiser in her name for the school down there. And Elias now has been telling me about that school, and I'm going to show you a couple of videos here shortly. But tell us what that school is all about, and what your goal is, and what we're going to try and obviously do to help out where we can here, from the show and from Zonians in general. But yeah, tell us what's going on with that school there, Elia.
Okay, thank you for opportunity, and here I speaking. I am so happy. Also, the in this moment, the children, the students, my classroom stay and the near is listening, because my students speak Spanish, but it's listening, and I speaking about the education. I children, the Cuna Indigenous is so happy for Allison for organize the fundraiser or GoFundMe. Also, Samantha the Zonian. The Corbisky Elementary Division is say all Sonian is all friends. This is because everybody, when you visit the tourist, you say, "Is it Sonian?" I know it's not. It's not Sonian. It's tourist, because this mentality the children is say everybody's Sonian. The American visit. It's no. It's the only friends the different country they visit. But because the Sonian is more help you the Corbisky Elementary School. For example, Samantha, Allison is got donation. Is in this money is by how they buy the different. For example, school supplies. I buy the container for the freezer, the solar panel for, because it's my class. I have the 155 students. It's very complicated. I have the three classroom, also one classroom, the Kuna Tipi house. It's very, for example, in the raining, it's very dark. Thank you for Allison or Samantha is can organize for help you the Corbisky Elementary School for the because it's more children in my classroom.
Yeah, and so real quick, Elias, I've got it on the screen there. It's a Corbisky school, and some of the things that they talk about. If you go to this website, and I'll post a link up here in just a moment here, but here's a picture of you taking these kids to school. Remember, guys, the Gunayala, as we're supposed to call it now, right, is a long series of islands, and so a lot of the children are, for lack of a better term, are scattered amongst these islands. And think about what we did going to Corundu Junior High School, right? We got on buses from Amador, from Diablo, Ancon, La Boca, Balboa. Well, they're doing the same thing, except they're paddling in boats to get to that school area. And so amongst the things that Elias wants to fundraise for in the classroom, obviously, but in order to get them to the classroom, they want to fundraise to get a boat to be able to pick them up. And that, in essence, would be like a school bus to go and pick these kids up and take them, to the location there. And Elias, you're talking about what, building 3 schools? Is that correct?
Yes. Okay. Now and I have 150 students, but the Corbisky's Elementary School help you the neighbor island, because it's Kunayala have the 365 island, one day for 1 year. Also,
Wow.
49 is community village, the people living. The Corbisky Island, the population is 380. Also, my neighbor island is named the Mamitupu, have 250 people. But my Corbisky Elementary School is help you every day. The children they coming in the canoes for the student in the Corbisky Elementary School. The Bamitupu children. My Kunayela expedition is help you and by boat for transportation, because in October, November, and December is very complicated. It's tide high, it's very windy. The breeze in the north side is for the student. It's very difficult for going in the canoes, because it's small canoes.
So,
and
Elias, let me ask you a question. And we've got the map up here now so we can get an idea here. I'm going to zoom out real quick to give you folks an idea of, again, where the Gunayala is, where that area is in relation to the Canal Zone in Panama City. So, here's Balboa and where we grew up, here's the Atlantic side, Cologne and everything. So we'll go ahead and zoom out because, again, it isn't as
okay,
close as people thought it was. It's all the way out
yes,
here, out east. Now, on this map here, Elias, and I don't know if you can see it on your screen there, but tell us where the islands start all the way on the east side and how far goes all the way to the west side to where the Gulf of Gunayala is.
okay. Most people, the tourists travel by car, and they buy Panama, Chepo, Llano Carti. The Carti is this land territory. It's the Corbisky Island is in the front in Porvenir. Porvenir is capital, the Cunayala. For example, Panama capital, Panama. Also, Comarca Cunayala capital is Porvenir. I have the close, the 5 minute, and the Porvenir Island, because Porvenir is in the Permanent Island have the police station, migration office,
Okay, so that's
the
the
Congress
administrative
General.
area.
Yes, exactly. I have the 5 million, the close, and the Porvenir.
Okay.
It's on the by boat, the Cartiland is 30 minutes, and the by boat, the fast boat, and the sailboat, I think so. 5 hour, and the sailboat, the Kuna sailboat, but the by boat and by fast boat is 25 minutes.
So let me ask you then. So the Porvenir, you said that's the capital, the administrative area. And now I'm looking here on these islands and all the way out here, and it goes Rio Azucar and Tupile. How far does the Gunayala go out to?
Okay, this and the Narganá, Rio Azúcar, Corazón de Jesús is and by boat is 4 hour because it's far away. For the Carti is very close because it's 25 minutes the Corbisky Island.
Okay, so in this area here, then where we say Rio Azucar, how far east from there does the Gunayala go? Does it go further east?
Yes, before they go there is because Cunayala is around the islands. The same island. For example, only the different name. For example, Rio Azúcar, Narganá,
Right.
Carti.
So where's the extreme on the east side? How far does it go to? Where does the Gunayala go to?
Okay, and in the east, I think for example in the Llano Carti, Carti is it's a 45 minutes. The Panama is 2 hours and a half, and the by boat is 30 minutes. In
Sí,
the
pero, o
and
sea, el extremo de la Gunayala en el lado del este. ¿Hasta dónde llega la Gunayala para como conocer?
llega hasta Colombia.
Hasta Wow, okay, so it goes all the way to
down.
Colombia. Wow.
Yeah, the Colombia.
Wow.
Because it is a land. From you go in the Narganá, Rio Azúcar, Ticantiquí, Puerto Valdía, hasta La Miel, Colombia.
Wow, that's incredible. That's
There's,
amazing.
for example, 365 islands.
365 islands, one for every day of the year. Interesting. Now, as far as your school, then the Korpinski School in those areas there, how far does that go to as far as students go? Where the furthest east that the students live?
Okay. At the Mamitupu, at the Corbisky is in 10 minutes by canoes.
Okay, so Mamitupu over here. So that's ese es el extremo al este donde tiene.
The Mamitupu is very close because it's Mamitupu, Carti o Mamitupu, the corazón de east, the otro Mamitupu. Pero I live in the close de Mamitupu, Carti. Son casi nombres iguales.
Oh, ya, ok. Entonces, Mamitupu Cartí, ¿dónde queda?
Cerca de Corbisky, 5 minutos.
Cerca de Corbisky.
Corbisky, cerca de Porvenir, Nalunega, Mamitupu. And in the Cunayala, is speaking about the zone. Zona 1, Zona 2, Zona 3, Zona 4. Ellos están divididos por zona. Zona 1. En Zona 1 son 28 comunidades.
Okay, let's look at
hasta,
it this way and see if it shows it. Does it show it here? Maybe. No, it's not divided on there either.
okay, en zona 1, zone 1 is 28 community. The Carti, the Porvenir, o hasta Ucupa.
Por venir hasta Ucupa. Ah,
Sí.
¿dónde está Ucupa?
Entonces está por las costas, por las costas.
Ok, bueno, se supone que todo está por la costa.
Sí, todo. Hay una que está por la costa, hay una que son islas.
Oh, ya entiendo, ya entiendo.
Sí,
Ok,
sí, sí, sí. Por
entonces,
ejemplo, en Carti, this area de Carti, two indigenous people, Mandiyala is living in the river. Mandiyala y Kangandi also living in the island.
okay. So now let me ask you this: would you say that the majority of the population in Gunayala lives on the islands or on the land?
Oh, okay. More island and have the more island living in the island. Only I think so. 10 community is living in the mainland.
Oh, okay. So 18 communities on the islands.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and then are the majority of the population on the western part close to Porvenir?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's more popular, more island because it's 28 islands.
Okay, and they're much bigger islands too, it seems.
Yes, all around the Kuna indigenous people in San Blas is 49,000 indigenous people. And the Panama and San Blas living, for example, 35, and Panama 25, depending people immigration, emigration.
Okay. And then so now for somebody that wants to visit from Panama, you're saying by driving they're going out to Chepo and what to El Llano? Is that where they're looking to turn or?
Yes, most tourists they visit for example, you go to Panama City and downtown, or Casco Viejo, or the Via España is going around the close the airport Tocumen, the
Yep.
Chepo, ya for the 24 de diciembre, also Llano Carti, Carti. This is the Llano Carti a Carti. This is 45 minutes, and the by car, the four wheel. Only the people, only the going by car, the four wheel, not the sedan, the small car, because you go to the mountain.
Okay. So
got it.
here's El Llano Carti, and this is where I guess the road that you're taking here. Is this the road that you're taking then up here, Llano Carti?
Yeah. Well, that one goes up to.
And then here's Garita Cunayala. So what does this mean here? Is this like como una frontera?
Exactly, this is a frontera because in the limit have the police station,
Okay.
because Cunayala is this area is more the people transit. For example, the Colombian people, the Venezuela, was very important in the limit have the police station for the control.
Okay.
Oh, got it.
Sure,
Yes.
because it's more rural out there. Okay. And so now this is the way you would then continue. And I guess this is where where you would the Gunayala. So this is the area where most people would then arrive to then get on a boat to go out to the islands.
Yes. For example, the Rio Azúcar, the other island, far away is very complicated because not have the roads. Also, the only the road is Llano Carti. The people is can wait by boat and the Carti. The for going on the Rio Azúcar, Narganá, Puerto Valdía. Normally, it depends the distance, the island of the Puerto Valdía, or is 7 hours and the by boat.
Oh wow. Okay. But then you can't do it by land because there's no roads out there.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. So now most people then, if you leave Panama from somewhere in central Panama or in Balboa, let's say, how long is it before you get out to the area out here to the I guess the landing areas where we were just showing the map there.
Okay, the Balboa, you had the transit, the Panama Canal. Also, you go in the Colon, and Miramar, San Blas. This is in the Balboa. No, it's very more complicated. Then December is very more complicated because it's very more windy.
Okay.
For the land, the Chepo is very fast.
Okay, so how long does it take then to get from the Panama City, from Via España, for example, over to these areas up here then?
Okay, 2 hour and a half. For
Okay.
the most people, they can wait the 5 a.m. in the morning. You stay in San Blas Island 8:30.
Okay. And now and so you arrive 8:30 and then most people stay what for the day and then leave in the evening or
Oh no, no, in me is closed because no have the light. Only the 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. is closed.
so
Hmm.
No,
after
no,
6
no
p.m. you're
people.
staying there.
Only emergency. Emergency. For example, the accident in the night in the island, you move in
Of course.
ambulance.
Okay, of course. Of course. Okay, so now tell us then a little bit about so we want to go and do the expedition Kunayala. What is it in tell us all about it. What is it that you offer? How does it where do you go and my phone's answering. But yeah,
Yeah.
so tell us about what it's like to take an expedition with Kunayala Expeditions.
Okay. Kunayala Expedition is my company. I have 15 years ago, they opened this company for the tourists because my first experience and working in school, most people, the tourists, visit my classroom. The Kuna people no speaking the tourists, only the people going the beach. I have to change the mentality at the tourists. Also, I speak in the Kuna culture, workshop the molas. I speak in the education culture. The tourist is so happy. The attention is very important. You got the
Sure.
attention. Yes, I have the about the gastronomy, everything. Also, tourists is like this. The Kunayama expedition is working the tourist community or tourist sustainably at the attention. No? It changed the program. Also, no interesting more the beach, interesting more the learn the tourists about the Kuna culture, the Kuna life.
Okay,
This
so
is
in
the
other words,
Kunayala expedition.
so what they're looking for now is a more immersive experience and learn about the culture, about the families, about living on the islands, as opposed to just visiting the beach, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. This is Kunayala experience. Kunayala expedition is more the contact the Kuna culture. You can learn the more about the Kuna people lives. I like it. The Zonian people, the other tourists, is all the friends, the contact, the
Sure.
feeling.
Yeah.
The Kuna for the contact more the Kuna culture.
Okay. And now, so how long are typically the tours with you guys? How long is it from start to finish?
Okay, okay. This depends more. The stay for 1 night or 2 night or full day.
Okay, so one night, 2 night, and just full day, which would mean you leave like you said at 5 o'clock in the morning. You arrive there about 8:30, and then by 4 o'clock you're heading back, and
Yes,
where they
it is
close.
full day. The
Okay,
overnight, if you stand the 5 and 5 and you travel, you stand 8 o'clock, you go to tomorrow next day and the 4 p.m.
okay, okay, wonderful. And now on as far as where you start the tour from and where they get transportation, is that starting in Panama City, or do they have to arrive? How does that work?
Okay, I have the transportation in Panama City because
Oh,
I like it, the Congress General, the Kuna culture, because the Congress General give me the opportunity for working for tourism in San Blas Island. Do you know how the permit, the Congress General, you know, working in San Blas Island? Because this is very important. Do you have the ID, the Congress General? For example, the permit, the Congress General. Why have the important the Congress General? Because most people, the tourists, buy the ticket for booking or for online. When you stay in the San Blas Island, it's very rough. This is the problem. the Congress generally changed. It's very important the tourists buy the ticket. You need the do you have the acts where you go in the area? Because it's most now in the internet and the booking on the Facebook, people offer the tours in San Blas Island. The problem is more complicated because it's more ropes.
Okay, so in other words, if you want a proper tour and learn about the proper culture and just getting around, because like you said, it's not an easy place to get around to. You definitely want to go with one of these official tours that is sanctioned by the government, and that's el Congreso de Turismo or something like that. I guess is that what we're talking about?
Yes, yes. The Congreso General de Guna, it have the ID for the tour guide. Also, the
Oh,
cabin, the
so it's
ID.
sanctioned by you guys.
Yes. Do you know how they do the ticket, the ID, the tour guide? Okay, June is most the tourists in Panama they buy the ticket. They say when you stay in San Blas Island, I buy the ticket, the tour guide and the company. But it's no attention. It's complicated.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's
So if
very
you wanna
very
be safe
dangerous.
and get it secure, make sure you do
Yes.
it with somebody that's authorized, and in this case, just make sure you do it with Cunayala Expeditions, and you can't go wrong. Just look for Elias Perez. So, Elias, let me ask you then. So we get where do you typically pick up a group? Is it just a general spot in Panama City, or do you set it up, I guess, depending on where they're at, or how does that work?
Okay, I can receive the tourists in Panama City, in Casco Viejo, or Miraflores, also for Clayton, and
Okay, so
depend
you're
the
picking them up
area.
wherever they need to be picked up. Okay, and then you're taking them down the road, the Pan American Highway, until you get to that area out here by El Llano, and from there now is this the road you're taking to take them up out to Gunayala?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now we take them there. We get through the gate here, the Garita Gunayala, and where do we go from here? Are they going to? It looks like
The
there's an area
Carti, the
where
Carti.
the cut.
When you descend the Garita Cunayala, you're going direct at Puerto Nicacantule. Puerto Nicacantule, it is a pier, the Carti. You can wait in the pier. You come now when you stand the pier, the Carti, you move in the by boat because this is an island. The Cunayala is island.
Correct. So which oh there it is, Carti parking and boat terminal. Okay, so here you go.
Yes, on the boat. Yeah, boat transport.
Ah,
Exactly this. Yes.
okay. And then from there, where do you guys go on the boats?
Okay, where I go in the by boat, I buy in the Carti Pier, I go in Corbisky Island. It's 25 minutes because I have the fast boat. You can learn the tourists learn the culture. For example, the group I had the presentation the Kuna dancing because my students now is practice the Kuna dancing because in August is very important the weekend culture.
Okay, perfect. So where is the Corbisky island on here? Where are we looking at?
I just in the front the Carti. It's close the Porvenir.
Close to Provenir. Okay, Provenir's up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, this area, yes, this area.
Okay. And you
In
get
this area, see.
that's the thing, guys. You got to get on Elias's boat. He's got the fastest boat on the whole Gunayala. Okay, so you don't mess around over here. This is where you got a fast boat there. Where is it? Okay, there we go.
This.
Oh, Corbisky, there it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Exactly, this is, yes.
Okay.
Esa.
Okay. So this is the entire court. Now this is the name of the island is Corbisky or the school?
No, it's same. Corbisky Island or is in the inside the Corbisky have the name is Corbisky School.
Ah, okay. Wow. And now this
Son lo
island,
mismo.
do people live
Mhm.
on this island?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. See, that's what's amazing. I guess when you look at the map here, you don't until you zoom in, you realize that there's a bunch of these little communities here, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Because look in this, the close is Mamitupu is very, and the close the Corbisky. The children is can move in the canoes for going in the morning for going to school.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And now, wow, that's pretty close. Can you swim from Karati over to this island?
No, no. I
It's
can't
too
move
far.
another place island. It's named the Dog Island, Chicheme Island. It's 25 million by the Corbisky at Chicheme Island or Dog Island and by boat.
Wow. Okay. And let me ask you: is there a lot of sharks in the water there?
What you say?
Sharks, tiburones.
No, no, no shark, only
Oh, good.
dolphin.
Oh, good. Even better. Even better. Look at that. Is that an airport?
Yeah, that looks like the airport.
Yes, this is Airport Porvenir, Office the Congress General.
Wow. Look at that. Okay. How about that? That's fascinating.
flying.
So now,
Now-
so let me go ahead, Ricky. Sorry. Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
was just going to ask a question. How do they catch water, or where does the water, the fresh water, come from in all those
Okay,
little islands?
okay, it's very important. I speak in the fresh water. And 5 years ago, the embassy, the military is can help me. The embassy American is can help me the container the raining fresh water for raining because in Corvisky Island it is island, no have the fresh water. People move in the canoes and the land for the going and the tanks, the water for fresh water every day for watching, for drinking. Also, I had the friends, the embassy military embassy, the embassy American, give me donation, the time big tanks for collective the for raining water. Also, I have the purification for alcohol for chloros, small chloros for drinking for my student because
Sure.
for cleaning the hands for everything.
Okay. So you had to
Because
go every
raining
day to
water
get
is
water.
very good. Yes.
And so now with the help from the embassy and whatnot, now they've helped you guys what containers to gather rainwater.
Yes, for raining water because in September, October, November is more raining than in Panama. Also, I have the recollected the water for raining. I have the bring the Kuna family.
Okay, interesting. And now that brings another question here along Ricky's lines of water. What about food? I would assume that the diet primarily in the Gunayala is probably fish. Is that correct?
Yes, the activity, the economic is fishing, catching the lobster, octopus, crabs. Also, the land every day the family is working. They're working the bananas, the coconut, sugar cane, caña de azúcar, corns. Uh, for no commerce. For example, I have the more bananas I bring it in by my neighbor. This is Kuna is tradition is help you together. I like it, the Kuna society because, for example, I have the more brinket, I give the my brinket, I help you for my neighbor. Or my neighbor is help me, the more bananas is same. It's intercambio, no change the
Sure,
comida.
sure. No, and so now the sugar cane and the caña, that makes that chicha de caña, right?
Exactly. The chicha de caña is more famous in Cuna. For example, most the children like it, the chicha caña de azúcar for eating. Comen, como es muy dulce, is candy, dulce.
Sure.
Also, is more chicha de caña is to put the fermentation, the coffee and coffee and sugar cane is just similar to rum. Mucho fiesta de pubertad,
Okay.
puberty ceremony.
So that's what you guys
Todo
drink
sirve
for
para
New
todo.
Year's, para
Yeah.
el Año Nuevo, chicha de caña.
Exactly.
Okay,
Mucha fiesta. It's more the party, chicha caña.
So listen, folks, and one of the ways that we're going to be able to help out and help these guys with all the needs they have for their the children education there is what we do our buy me a beer. What we're going to do instead of buy us a beer, we're going to buy a chicha de caña and do this to again help these guys out and from now all the way through the end of the year, instead of buying us a beer, we're going to buy a chicha de caña to help the Cunayala expedition and the Corbisky school out there. So feel free to buy these guys a drink and help celebrate that great culture that we're going to help out here. So now let me ask you, Elias. You mentioned that you have that boat and you have to go pick the kids up. So tell us what that's like on a typical morning, like Monday morning when school starts again. How does that work? You have to go around and pick the kids up, or do they paddle themselves, or their parents, or how does that work?
Okay. Depend the weather. For example, the weather is big weather. I help in my boat, the Kunayala expedition boat. Or also For example, the rain is cloudy. My company Kunayela Station is transportation. The weather is very fit. It's very good. Children is coming in the NU canoes, the small canoes. The four children or three children, depending, space the canoes. Uh, for Kunayala Station is more project and different in education. For example, I have the speaking the climbing chains. I have speaking about the valor of the culture. I speaking the workshop, the dancing. Because I like it, the rescue the Kuna culture for the long time is the loss.
Yes, no, absolutely. You want to continue to pass that on to future generations, and like you said, educate other people. And that's one of the interesting things that we were looking at here. And if anybody that's listening has any contacts with Starlink, for example, that's something that Elias and I were talking about earlier today that they really could use. That would really help them to get their message out to the world, and in return be able to provide a higher level of education by being able to access more content, because obviously, as you can tell from, even just accessing the place, it's still very remote. So internet access is very, very limited. And that would be one of the ways to do that. So Elias, is that something you guys are looking to do, is get Starlink in there to help you with your classrooms?
Yes, absolutely. It is more important for the Kuna and for my school because I like it. Now it's competition, the technology and intelligent artificial, but the indigenous is far away because the Panamanian government or the Panamanian Minister of Education is only, I think so. No more that is not help you more in education. Also, you depend if the people, the tourists, the Zonian, it help you for education, emotion because uh, now I'm speaking every day. I have the seven teachers. I say, in the area rural is very complicated because you are working in the island. You know, move in the Panama City. You like it. The education is changed every day because very important is sterling to connection, and also for other schools, but they learn the technology because now in the for example and the my and I have this I work in the sixth grade. The children no have no have the for the technology for internet or the Google for example in Microsoft Point or
PowerPoint.
Word. Yeah, this exactly. I like it, the teaching the technology.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it really is. I mean, it's 2025. We have so much information at our fingertips. And like you said, with artificial intelligence, there's so much more available there and more opportunities to get the word out to the rest of the world and introduce the world to the Gunayala, culture and what they're all about. There's some fascinating things. It was interesting reading, as I was prepping for this show, that one of the earliest cultures to really push back and revolt against the colonial governments here was the Gunayala, and this goes back to what, 1925, isn't that when that first big revolt came in? And since then the Gunayala, although it was sandblast then and has since been recognized differently now, but you've had that autonomy, is that correct?
Exactly, this is correct. Yes, in 1925, this is a free revolution. The for police government Panamanian, and also for discussion because
Okay, we might be having some connection issues there. I think it's on his end, Ricky. I think, right? Yep. I see you still
Yeah, I
moving.
hear you. Yeah.
Okay. But no, it's really interesting, and I've read about that. It's I mean, they were going so far as to removing children from the families to erase the culture. They were, it wasn't even allowed to be taught that culture. They really were supposed to just learn the Spanish or Panamanian culture there, and so in 1925 they pushed back and they were successful, and then since then they've had that
Autonomy.
that absolutely that autonomy to them, and so it's a great story, and I think we lost a connection, and which kind of reinforces what he's talking about, the need for connectivity in 2025, and Starlink certainly offers that opportunity to these guys.
Yeah, he
So
was doing a great job. I was totally into what he was
yeah,
saying
it
'cause I
was, it
really
was.
don't know even what it looks like. That's amazing how widespread it is.
It is. And you think about, again, comparing it to our upbringing in an area not too far away where we're on our school buses getting picked up in all these communities. These guys, depending on the weather, you
Wait,
may
wait, wait,
be.
wait. I was walking barefooted,
Yeah.
alligators everywhere.
Yeah, of course. In the snow, right? But I mean, so and you think about that, imagine it, we think about hurricane season and that time of the year when the weather is really rough, and suddenly these guys have to turn around and now he's going to go and pick them up. And again, this guy does a lot of great things for that community. We definitely want to get him on again down the road and have another presentation. But this is something I think we really want to help these guys out. And from talking to him previously, the Guna culture, and they still use the term Kuna as well. They're kind of interchangeable. He mentioned that, but they were very fond of the Americans, and they did have a great working relationship with them, and then at the same time a great working relationship with the Panamanians. So it's
I know he said whenever they talk about Americans, they immediately think Zonians.
yes, they sure do.
That
They
was amazing. I
100%
like
do.
that. That was
Yeah.
great to know, man.
It is. It really is fascinating. And that's something that, we used to see that a lot when we were growing up down there. You'd see it a lot on SCN, on the real SCN, right? Where they'd have those little promos or whatever, and things they would talk about, where a lot of units would cycle through Panama, and part of their training would be providing care for a lot of the rural communities out there. And oftentimes you'd see some of that stuff on K-POS or community scenes shows that they would show that a group from the U.S. Army would go out to the islands and do these kind of things. They build water, collection areas, or they rebuild some of their piers and things of that nature. So there always has been that really great connection with the Americans, and it makes it.
Well, yeah, he mentioned that the
yeah.
U.S. Was it the embassy or Southcom is helping them out with water projects. And,
Yeah.
That's amazing.
No, it really is. They really do a lot, and like you mentioned, 365 islands. That's incredible, And
I mean, that's a testament to survival, man. 'Cause,
yeah,
I mean, looking at those
absolutely.
islands are just completely full of homes, and there's nowhere to farm. There's no, water
Yeah.
catchment, sanitation. So they figured it out after all these years.
Yeah, they sure
on how
did.
to-
They
and it's not
sure
a
did.
polluted area either. It's a
No,
pristine.
pristine. No
So
kidding.
they
No
know,
kidding.
they know the environment like nobody else. And
Yeah, that should be something that, remember, guys, you're coming up in January for the Canal Zone reunion in Panama. And you're talking about dry season, a wonderful time to go out there. Obviously, transportation won't be as difficult because you're going on dirt roads, but you're not worried about muddy roads and stuff like that. But you're not worried about rain either, right? And so you probably can have some really warm, beautiful Atlantic coast Caribbean breeze out there to go and check those places out. So if it's something you want to do, I know, Ricky, you've got the class of 81 showing up down there. I've got class of 86 showing up down there. And we have talked within our group on the class of 86 of maybe doing a trip out to the area out there. And we keep saying the Sandblast Islands. We got to start remembering that it's the Gunayala is what we're talking about.
But
there.
there's a tourist place on the Chagres that Roby took us to. That's all the Bohíos are out there in the tradition, and you have lunch with them. And,
Oh, very good.
And they dance with you. I mean, I will look into that, but it's very popular on the.
Yeah, no, there is,
Chagres.
like you said, and kind of to piggyback off of what Ricky was talking about earlier with these influencers, and that, the traditional tourism in Panama was always, when we knew it back then, was, old Panama, Casco Viejo, the canal, right? Maybe Volcan, Boquete, and maybe if you were daring, a little bit of Darien. But some people would take the flight out to San Blas, like Dave Dahlstrom just chimed in earlier that he took it, in that short little runway. But that was pretty much it. That drive out to Chepo and El Llano, back when we lived down there in the zone, that wasn't happening. That road was much smaller.
No.
It definitely wasn't what you have today in 2025.
We lost a few friends on that road, by the way. Yeah.
No, for sure. So it is an opportunity now to, again, be able to experience that culture that we didn't know back then. And like Ricky just said, that culture still has has preserved itself quite a bit, right? It is still a pristine culture, pristine nature area there. So what a wonderful tour to take. And at the same time, you're helping these guys out to continue, what
living the way
Elias
they
is
do.
doing. Yeah, absolutely. And giving to all those children, right? Giving them a great education, having that opportunity to do it. I mean, again, guys, it's 2025, So again, if anybody has any contacts or sway at Starlink or just get on social media and post onto the Starlink site and go, hey, you got to help these people in Panama. Elon Musk has some money, man. He can maybe throw a couple of satellite dishes down here to these guys to help them out, but that would be really cool. And again, guys, don't buy us a beer, buy a chicha de caña for these guys. And between now and the end of the year, we're going to go ahead and fundraise for these guys and help them, help make a difference to continue doing what they're doing to preserve that and see what's going on. Rosanna said, I've been praying to move there.
Let's read what Rosanna said.
Yeah. Help another ministry there. Yeah, Rosanna does a lot of great work with ministries, and she does the Lord's work for sure.
She wants to move to San Blas. Right on, Rosanna.
Live in the mountains were cooler. Build a plan to pray about for you. Yeah, well,
that's the Zonian way right there.
Absolutely,
Giving,
absolutely.
Sharing.
Not talking about let's in the mountains. This is Guna Indians didn't catch all. Yes, it was. So the gentleman that was on was Elias Perez with Gunayala Expeditions, and he's also a teacher down there, and he's doing a lot of fundraising for those guys to help them out to bring more education and more opportunities to those guys there. But like he said, and Ricky reinforced it, they're very fond of Zonians and we Zonians are very fond of them. And so let's see what we can do to give back. But let's say hello to a couple other people here, and then we're going to go ahead and cut things off here. But Dave, Leaf brought this up. Is Dave going to be on this weekend? Yes, he is. Remember, guys, next week is August 15th. So he definitely will be on. Stay tuned for that.
For us too, guys.
Yeah, it really is. Vincent at Balboa. Yeah, Vincent was the man, and he still is. I know that Shorty and Slim actually made a song about him.
He was like the featured person at the last reunion too. They did a whole thing on him.
Yes. So that'll be really cool to see more of that, and I would love to have Vincent on as well. He'd be great to have on the show here because I know he touched a lot of people's lives there. And again, Bud, thank you so much for chiming in.
We have him soon.
Yep, in 2 weeks, man. Looking forward to that one. We're going to spread the word to our other fellow viewers out there from the military, especially Howard, where Bud was stationed, but really, really excited for that one. So can't wait. But nonetheless, guys, listen, thank you again so much for really excited. It is, of course, the birthday of the Canal Zone, right? And so that's a big deal. That's always exciting for us. So we're celebrating a lot this month. Next week, the 15th is a Friday. So it is the actual birthday of not just the Canal Zone. It's also the birthday of Panama City, way before the Canal Zone in the 1500s. So a lot to celebrate.
From old Panama City after it got ransacked to their new spot.
They did indeed.
The new spot.
They did it, and they did it under that Ancon, right? Which was what was the name of a big bluff overlooking a area to protect it, which ended up becoming the name of the hill there, the Ancon Hill. But that's what it actually stands for. So that should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that show.
We did a show about that.
We did. And then Bud Tristan will join us in 2 weeks to talk about his experience from the military and all the things that he captured there. So that should be really exciting. And then, of course, we get to the end of the month. End of the month is when Ricky and I pretty much are going to be recapping, what went on this show. This month has been jam-packed, right? We had some great history from Dave Dahlstrom at the beginning of the month talking about Canal Zone schools. Learned a lot about how the school system started. We had Elias tonight, learned a lot about the Gunayala culture and all that. And then we've got coming up here our 15th anniversary celebration. And then, of course, Bud Tristano coming up. So a jam-packed month. Can't wait to celebrate. By the way, next week, guys, Dave Dahlstrom's joining us for a Kahoot. He's not joining us for a full segment. It's just a Kahoot, but going to be a lot of Zonian trivia there. Mostly things about Zonian and Canal Zone history since it's the Canal Zone birthday, but some Panama City history as well. Keep that in mind. So, sharpen up your skills there. Get on Google or go check out your shows. Every first of the month is a Canal Zone history show. watch those shows again and maybe get some skills there. We're gonna have some cool prizes, some Happy Art the Balboa Yacht Club T-shirts, membership to the Pan Canal Museum collection. We'll be giving away a lot of different things, so definitely stay tuned. But anyhow, thanks again for joining us. Sorry about the hiccup, our little mulligan earlier on tonight, but as usual, we persevere, man. So
we
but,
do. I mean,
anyhow.
people always say, Willie, putting together a live streaming show is not easy, and we
No,
are
it's not.
testament of that, boy. It's
No,
so
it's
many
not.
things can go wrong.
And when they do, man, it's like, even though you think you're ready for it, it's like, oh, deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
What do we do? You know, but
Yeah.
we handled it. And Ricky, again, thank you for taking over like a pro while I try to get stuff straightened out, because especially when you're not ready for it, and all of a sudden you're like, what do you mean I got to talk for this long? But
I
but
can
we know
handle
Ricky
it.
can talk, so that's
I
never
can-
a
I
big
can-
problem.
I didn't know I could until I started this show. Now I know
Uh-huh.
I can.
Yes, you can indeed. So anyhow, Ricky, have a wonderful weekend. And everybody, we will see you guys 8
Next
p.m.
week.
Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and 7 p.m. Canal Zone time here at Happy Art the Balboa Yacht Club.